Yes, there was a mistake, James began. But what matters now is that this child is ours. Our family, unconventional as it may be, is built on love and respect. And that's what truly matters.
Welcome to the Savannah Storytellers channel, where we give you the best African talks, love stories, folklore and more. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate your support.
Elizabeth Wilson walked nervously into the clinic. A routine physical examination had turned into something far more complicated when the doctor mistakenly swapped her records with another patient. Little did she know that her life was about to take an unexpected turn. The doctor, Dr. Matthews, had misread Elizabeth's file and assumed she was the surrogate mother for a wealthy businessman. Without realizing the error, he proceeded with artificial insemination. Elizabeth, unaware of the mix-up, woke up confused but was assured everything was fine. James Roberts, a wealthy businessman, paced nervously in his office. His wife, Amanda, had made it clear that she wasn't ready for children. She feared that motherhood would ruin her figure. Frustrated and desperate, James had agreed to hire a surrogate. Little did he know, the surrogate he'd chosen was mistakenly swapped for Elizabeth. Elizabeth met James at a cafe a few days after the procedure. He was confused and embarrassed when he explained the mix-up. "I'm terribly sorry," James said, his voice apologetic. "This was never meant to happen. You were supposed to be a surrogate for my wife, but there's been a huge mistake." Elizabeth's shock turned to confusion as she tried to process the reality of the situation. Months later, Elizabeth delivered a healthy baby girl. While James was elated, Amanda stood by, feeling torn. She had refused to have children for years, but now, seeing her husband with the child he'd wanted, Amanda couldn't deny the emotional pull. "I'm not ready," she said quietly, but she couldn't hide the longing in her eyes. As Elizabeth spent more time with the baby, she grew attached. James, too, began to see her not just as the mother of his child, but as a woman who had changed his life. Amanda, still unsure, reluctantly began to help care for the baby. It wasn't perfect, but the bond between them slowly began to form. The public began to take notice of the unusual family dynamic. Elizabeth, James, and Amanda were frequently photographed together, and rumors began circulating about their unconventional arrangement. Elizabeth felt the weight of the scrutiny and knew it would be impossible to keep their situation a secret. James decided to address the media head-on. At a public press conference, he stood proudly with Elizabeth and Amanda. "Yes, there was a mistake," James began. "But what matters now is that this child is ours. Our family, unconventional as it may be, is built on love and respect. And that's what truly matters." Elizabeth nodded, her heart filled with hope for the future. As time passed, Amanda's feelings toward the baby changed. She realized that motherhood didn't have to destroy her. Rather, it made her stronger. One evening, Amanda walked into the nursery and looked at the baby in Elizabeth's arms. "She's ours," Amanda whispered, her voice full of tenderness. Elizabeth smiled, realizing that despite the rocky start, they had become a true family. As the months went by, James and Elizabeth's relationship grew. They shared moments of laughter, deep conversations, and a mutual understanding. Though their bond had started under unconventional circumstances, it had blossomed into something real and heartfelt. "We've been through so much," James said one evening, "and I've learned to appreciate you in ways I never thought possible." Elizabeth smiled. It was strange, but it felt right. Amanda spent quiet evenings reflecting on her journey. She began to realize that her fear of losing her body had held her back from experiencing the joys of motherhood. Watching James bond with the baby, she felt the stirrings of something new. Perhaps it was time to open her heart to the family they had become. The first family dinner at their home was a moment of transformation. Elizabeth, James, and Amanda gathered together, and though the atmosphere was a bit awkward at first, soon laughter filled the air. Elizabeth realized that what she had once thought was a mistake had turned into a blessing. Elizabeth walked through the crowded market one afternoon, and the whispers began. People pointed and murmured about her untraditional family. But instead of feeling ashamed, she stood tall, her shoulders squared. Let them talk, she thought. I know my truth. Over time, Amanda and Elizabeth began to develop a genuine friendship. They would spend afternoons in the park, talking about everything from motherhood to their personal dreams. They found comfort in each other's company, realizing they had more in common than they initially thought. One evening, James surprised Elizabeth with a gift. For all you've done, he said, handing her a beautifully wrapped box. Inside was a locket with the baby's picture. Elizabeth's eyes filled with tears. I never expected this, she whispered. You've given me so much more than I could have ever asked for. While Elizabeth was growing closer to James and Amanda, she was also facing challenges of her own. As a young woman in a complicated situation, balancing her career, motherhood, and her new family role was not easy. But she was determined to rise above it all. One evening, Elizabeth stood by the window contemplating her future. She had been given the chance to build a family in a way she never expected. But as her heart grew, so did her responsibilities. She knew she had to make some big decisions. Amanda and James began to reconnect, their marriage slowly healing. Through the trials they had faced, they discovered a new depth to their love. They understood that family was not just about convenience, but commitment. The three of them, now a family in every sense of the word, spent more time together. The bond between Elizabeth, James, and Amanda strengthened each day. What had started as an accident had blossomed into a relationship built on mutual love and respect. To honor their journey, Elizabeth, James, and Amanda founded a children's foundation to help underprivileged children in Lagos. The legacy of their unusual family story became a symbol of love, understanding, and overcoming the unexpected. They realized that family isn't defined by societal norms. It's about the love and effort you put into it. Life doesn't always go as planned, and sometimes the most unexpected situations lead to the most beautiful outcomes. True family is built not on perfection, but on love, resilience, and the willingness to embrace what comes your way. It's not the circumstances that define us, but how we choose to respond to them. If you were in Elizabeth's shoes, what would you do? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content.